This is Tabletop Weekly, and we are the partners of Solarian Games.
I am Jason.
I'm Peter, and we are joined today by Mark Taormino of Dark Wizards Games. We're going to do a couple things today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have we're going to show a video of an interview that we did with Iija from Facility 404. Now, we had to do this interview ahead of time, and we're going to stream it.
But it was only
live.
a few hours ago. It was just earlier today.
Yeah, it was earlier today. Yeah. But he lives in Lithuania. Is that right?
He lives in Eastern Europe, yes.
Okay. And so it's 3 a.m. for him right now. So we're going to
he's in Lithuania. He's in Vilnius.
Okay.
Capital. Vilnius, capital of Lithuania. As top secret spy people, we should know all these capitals. So Vilnius, capital of Lithuania.
So, but first, so Mark is gonna we're gonna do an interview with Mark after that. So it's a show with 2 interviews. No news today.
But it's pretty exciting because I'm gonna be revealing a little thing that we're doing at Solarian that Mark is starring in as a character. It's a print product that Mark is a character in. So I'm excited to reveal that when we get to that part of the show. So stick around and find, this is our first ever live casting of a human being in a print product.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I'm honored.
I'm excited because
thanks for having me on the live stream. Thank you.
I'd love to have you here. I know we're going to talk all about this, but you do games, you do acting, you do filmmaking, you do so much stuff. We're going to have a lot to talk about.
Sure.
So yeah. We're going to jump into taking a look at Iija's stuff. But before we do that, just Mark, you want to give everybody a little overview of kind of what your world is about before we get to the interview afterwards?
Sure. I'll make it really fast. My name is Mark Taormino, everyone. And if you're not familiar with what I do, I run a small publishing business called Dark Wizard Games. And I've written and published about 60 or so Dungeons & Dragons adventures, primarily for first edition. But I do have a lot of 5th edition ones now as well. And all of my new products going forward over the last year or so have all been a combination of both for 1st edition and 5th edition, as opposed to creating separate books, which I used to do, but it was just too complicated. So it's easier just to put them all in one. But basically, I'm a small press, independent game publisher. And I also, on the side, am an actor in movies, TV, film, music videos, stuff like that. You can look me up on IMDb. I have about 90 IMDb credits. So anyways,
you can. So they're pretty cool. And the small press indie, that's where we're at. That's what we love. We love being part of this together in the same community. So glad to have you here. And also Mark has actually hooked me up with some great artists in the past as well. When we worked with Kaka Katana for for ModCon, it was Mark that hooked us up with him because Mark has great taste and knows good artists.
Oh, thank you for that. Yeah. And he's working on some new stuff for me as well right now. So some upcoming stuff.
Love it. Yeah. If anybody out there you can see, is that his work right there?
That's his work here. This one is Dean Spencer on this one, but the other one was his work. He does pretty much 99% of all my stuff.
Yeah.
Whenever he's available.
He's a talented guy, and he's really fun to work with too. So
he's really fast too. He's really fast.
So, yeah.
He's excellent. Yeah.
Well, Peter, should we jump?
About 2020. Go ahead.
What's that?
I've been working with him since about 2020.
I mean, that says a lot to stick with a artist for that long. So that's
it does.
Yeah, because that's the thing about working with artists. Of course, you got to find the great artists, but you also have to find the ones that you want to actually work with as people.
Yeah, that can get tricky sometimes.
It can be, and the ones that can deliver on time and stuff like that. Because it's one thing, like in the old days before 2023, I used to only publish 1 or 2 books per year. Because at that time, I had to take care of an elderly mom for like 7 years, 8 years. But then in 2023, when she passed away, I started doing the business full time. And at that transition, suddenly I had to produce, in order to do this full time, you have to produce at least 12, 18 books per year. So at that point, it becomes really critical that you can get all the artists that can work quickly and efficiently and stuff like that in the schedule, under that kind of schedule workload to make it work as a full-time business. So. Right. Anyway, so he's fantastic. All the artists I work with are fantastic. I still use all my artists pretty much from even back in the beginning, around 2013, most of them. that are still doing this stuff. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes they drop out or they don't do stuff anymore, or they come in and out. But all of my folks have been pretty regular.
That's so cool. I can't wait till we get to your interview to talk about what it's like to actually get that many out a year. Let's start with Iija, and I guess, anything we need to do to line this up, or we just show it, huh?
Let's just show it, because I mean, we actually introduce it as we go into it. So
I'll just say, if you're in the chat, we're staying here. We'll chat with you in the chat while it's going. So please, this is all still live.
Yep. All right, here we go.
Section of Tabletop Weekly, we are doing a little bit of an unusual thing. We're usually 100% live, but time zones can be crazy. And so for today, we're going to record this section and we'll put it on during the show. So if you're chatting, I guess we'll be here chatting with you, but our guest will not be chatting live. We are talking right now with Iija Jakovlev, who has created an amazingly cool terrain/dungeon tile thing called Facility 404 that can be used with all kinds of different futuristic and modern systems. And I think the best thing to do is to just hand it over to Iija to explain a little bit about what you have made, and the fact, of course, we'll talk about that it's on Kickstarter right now at the end.
Okay, yeah, thank you for having me. It's my first time on a podcast for this thing. So yeah, Facility 404 is just a simple set of dungeon tiles, but it's sci-fi. And when I was designing it, at some point I just realized, what if I can add some little girders and other pieces to turn these tiles into more 3D stuff, more 3D buildings, and to make it suitable, that the whole set makes suitable not just for RPGs, not for just for like dungeon crawling, not for like Mothership and Alien RPG and Starfinder, what's not, but also for those maybe smaller miniature skirmish games that I play myself mostly, like Stargrave, like 546 from Home, and Star Wars Legion. Even we played Star Wars Legion on this.
That's really cool. So why don't we start? I know we've got some pictures of it. We're going to look at the real thing during this little segment as well. But Peter, if you want to bring up some pictures, because it's a pretty unusual approach. It's not your usual 3D resin printed or cast in molds or anything like that. Could you walk us through, how these are made and what we're looking at?
Yes. So these are pretty known technology of laser cutting for most of us miniature war gamers and probably RPG players as well. So yeah, it's MDF, HDF. Actually, it's high density fiberboard terrain, 2.5 millimeters. It's quite sturdy. We will get to that. My innovation was to add digitally printed, like really high quality printed plastic film on top first. So the large sheet is printed and glued to the stained brown stained sheets of HDF, and then I align it in the laser. It's a hassle, but I figured it out how to do that, and with a good tolerance. And then you cut it out, and you have, on one hand, it's quite cheap, affordable, and on the other, it's really high quality stuff, and it's much more sturdier than chipboard. Like what do we get from board games, from board game tokens and so on? It's not cardboard. It's wood-like material. So
yeah, because that was what I thought at first was chipboard, which, as you say, it's a little bit more, not flimsy, but it's not as strong as what you have here, which is almost like the kind of thing you might. Certain parts of IKEA furniture are made out of HDF. Exactly. I mean, Peter, you know the materials we're talking about here.
Yeah, I do. And the problem would mostly be with the reusability. Like, as you're putting this together and taking it apart, that wear, I think, is where you would see the damage from something like that. Whereas this material, you're not going to see that not nearly as early. Because I mean, everything wears out over time, but these look like these should last a lot longer.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes. Yeah, they do. They survived a lot of shootings and trial and some games, and yeah, they look quite well.
And there's a lot more pieces here than just the floorboards. So what you're showing is things that you've turned into actual, I don't know if I want to call them terrain, or what's the right word for the
scattered terrain, maybe. Yeah,
scattered terrain. Yeah.
Okay. And it's very multifunctional. And let's talk about what we're looking at here for people who are just listening. Can we describe what we're seeing on the screen?
Right. So it's not just tiles, not just rooms and corridors and doors. I also added some scatter terrain, like cargo boxes of different scale, different sizes. They also have this sci-fi flair and sci-fi flavor to them. And I also, with these pieces that I will show you later, these girders and these connector clips, they are not printed, they're just cut out from brown stained and the same material, HDF. And they allow to not to just combine these tiles into some like raised platform or walls or 3D structures or catwalks, but also to make columns like you see on this photo. Yeah, my versatility was my #1 probably priority for this set. So we can use it for many settings, for from like cyberpunk and to sci-fi to I don't know, to Star Wars even maybe.
Right.
Even some sort of futuristic game show skirmish game like More Blood.
Yeah, these would work for More Blood.
Oh, yes, of course.
I want to understand how those girders are actually. So when they arrive for somebody, will they be assembling the scatter terrain, or what will they be getting?
So everything will come flat packed. So it's laser cut, it's flat packed, it's flat materials.
Like I can.
And yeah. So with tiles, you only just need to punch them out. It's like a 5-minute deal. And with the scatter terrain, like boxes and other furnishings like cryopods, I also have like this is probably my favorite piece from all set. They will come as a printed sturdy cardstock, like this.
Yeah, cool.
Or we can say like they will come like this, and they will have they will be cut out, of course, and the lines for foldings they will also be marked, like physically marked and embossed.
So they're pre-scored.
Oh yes, pre-scored. Thank you.
Okay.
And so then with glue or even without glue, you have these pieces, so you can assemble it without glue, and you just add these two pieces that are also made of brown stained MDF, HDF, and you get something like this.
Wow, this
So
really is the IKEA of sci-fi terrain.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yes.
Well, let's set this up. Let's show us a few things. Set up a few things for us.
Of course, yeah. So yeah, first and foremost, this is a set of tiles, right? And it all consists of pieces like simple rooms, right? And corridors, and you have these cutouts that also help to align these pieces together. But for sure, you can go any other crazy way, like this.
When they sort of hit each other, you can really hear the quality of the material. Give them another click.
If you like the sound, it's yes, it's not constant.
You can make an ASMR video just clicking them.
I guess. And then you add something like this, like girders like that, and to these pieces.
Look at that.
And
Nice.
Let me see. Okay, I will use these ones.
This is nice. We're kind of getting the experience that the person buying this gets when they're like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, where's this piece? Oh, okay, I put this in." Making a little platform now.
Yeah. And then you have like a landing pad or like just raised platform or whatever. And you can
It's
build
very
like
stable too. I
Yeah.
want to point out the
hope so.
tolerances, that it's not. My table
Yeah.
at breakfast this morning wobbled more than this.
Yeah, that's true. And one of the things I really like about this is that you can see under the pieces and stuff. So if you had figures moving underneath those pieces, you could easily move them and see them. Whereas if you had like walls that went all the way up, if a figure wanted to move underneath that, you'd have to, I can't see where he's going or whatever. With this, you can.
Yeah, since I'm a player myself, a miniature player myself, so I understand what challenges are and what I want from my terrain. So mostly, maybe it sounds selfish, but mostly I designed stuff that I would use myself, and hopefully that someone else will like. Yeah. What else? So about this in the columns we've seen earlier, It's just made of some girders and some triangular pieces like that, and you just clip them on the go. So this doesn't need to be glued, but you can for sure. But you can just use the same pieces like over and over again in different settings and like to make different setups for the players. Yeah, so you have a circle home, or if you can just use one and you have like a barrier, like a fence.
So that the brown color we're seeing now, that's the material itself. That's
Yes,
the,
yes.
how well did first of all, the brown looks great.
Yeah.
But how well did they hold paint if you want to?
Oh, you don't even need to prime them. It's like painting wood. It really sticks to it. And if you want to, that's quite a surprising question, because I was like, you don't need to paint them, but if you want to, you can use maybe a sponge and like sponge on over some metallic paints or maybe some dry brush or something.
Put some blood.
Yeah, put some blood on it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So did you design these in CAD and then send that drawing to send it to like a laser printer or laser cutter and it cuts it out?
Yes, I'm a simple man. My background is graphic design and many years of graphic design, and all I know well is Adobe Illustrator, which is a vector.
Oh, that works fine. Yep.
Yeah, and it actually allows for quite good, nice tolerances. Yeah, and you just make this. I just designed in the vector format, and they laser cut it. And yeah, but lately with this project, it's my first time when I tried to turn my 2D designs into 3D STL files. I recently bought myself a Bambu Lab, as a smaller one, and experimenting with that. And eventually, I was like, I can just just extrude my flat shapes into 3D objects and see where it goes. So yeah, with this physical tiles, I also offer a digital package, which includes both STLs and PDFs for like print and play for people with like general printers to print those tiles on paper, maybe glue it to some cardstock and have it like old school way. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
So let's look at what the different things are that you're offering up in the campaign, the different reward levels. I just want to get an idea of some. I've already, full disclosure, everybody, I have bias. I have already backed this at. I think I backed it at the level where you get a full setting, but maybe not all the outdoor stuff. I forget what that was.
Probably I haven't communicated it clearly enough, but the structure of rewards is quite simple. It's just core set and upgrade kit. And core set is all the tiles and also 10 of these little doors and 6 of these nice.
Oh, good. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I got the combat zone. That's what I did. I got the combat zone.
Oh, okay. That's a huge one. Okay. And this upgrade kit is all the 3D stuff. So all the girders and connector pieces, and also this scatter terrain stuff like this. So yeah, and also you can add a digital pack as well. It's quite simple. If you playing mostly like Mothership RPG, let's say, and you play mostly like interior encounters, like spaceship exploration or something like this, then you should you can just be fine with the tiles only, with the core set. With this upgrade kit, you just upgrade this for any miniatures game probably. And if you're playing something like large army game like Star Wars Legion or maybe even 40K, so I would suggest to pick 2 of each, or maybe even 2 tiles, core sets, and 2 upgrade kits, just to have more variety and more options in hand.
Awesome.
All right, this has been great. I guess Kickstarter's live right now. How much longer you got on it?
I think it's 20 more days.
Yeah, it looks like it's ending on Saturday, September 12th, but early in the morning if you're Eastern time. So really think Friday the 11th. But it's doing pretty good. It's about a half the way there. So I see a lot of people getting excited about it. There's time to still go get in on it. So I would absolutely encourage people, because go back this, because I want to get mine. I want it to succeed. I want mine. So
Yeah, and we'll help spread the word. So, we have a lot of modern gamers. Our flagship game is a modern game. So we have modern gamers who, buy our stuff. So hopefully they'll take a liking to this.
yeah,
Right.
we'd love to
Thank
see
you.
it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming and showing us all of these pieces, and can't wait to play with them.
Okay, cool. Can't wait to produce them
Oh,
and ship it.
We should tell people how to find this, of course. There is a campaign going on Kickstarter right now. It's called Facility 404. Any other ways you want people to reach you?
I'm still open for feedback, and you can either comment or any of feedback about the set on the Kickstarter comments section, or just email me directly. My email is like ilya@9010games.com. It's also in the description in the story of the Kickstarter. So yeah, I'm really open for suggestions and from fellow gamers. Yeah, I'm still keen to tweak this set, tweak the designs for people's needs.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming on. And
Thank you for having me.
good luck with this. I really want to see it backed.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, we're
Are
back.
we? Yeah, we are.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That whole setup with the finisher stuff.
I know. I love that he's done like the IKEA of terrain. It's just flat pack, easy to carry.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you do much sci-fi gaming yourself, Mark?
Not too much. When I was in the heyday of my actual gaming stuff before writing modules, my favorite stuff was always the fantasy D&D first edition. But my second favorite was always Gamma World, which I actually have a product line called Warriors of the Wastelands. 4 books so far in that series, but it's like a Gamma World style thing, but it's my own kind of world. But it's done for first edition and fifth edition. But anyways, so science fiction Gamma World. But back in the day, I used to have Star Frontiers, but we rarely played it.
Yeah.
We mostly played D&D and Gamma World. But I used to play Warhammer 40K. So we would use the miniatures for that.
Are you looking forward to the Warhammer television series?
I didn't even know they were making one, but now that you mentioned that they're doing it, I'm not surprised. So I'll have to look into that. I haven't seen anything about it.
It's Henry Cavill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, who's doing it? What channel? What streaming?
Gosh, is it like HBO or?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those Netflix,
he's a
HBO,
super
Apple.
fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Henry Cavill's a super fan of Warhammer 40K. There's all these pictures of him actually holding figures and showing them off and like smiling. So I think he might have been the one to either start this, or maybe he saw that somebody was shopping it around and he jumped on it right away, because he's been a huge advocator for it.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. I'll have to look into that.
So now, Mark, you've worked on a lot of different stuff. Did you ever run into him on anything you've worked on in film?
Over the film stuff? No, not with him. But sometimes other people that end up working on a project. Some of the biggest ones that I've worked with would be the most well-known people. I mostly work in B or C or D list type movies or things like that. But occasionally, I work with a bigger celebrity, like some of the most notable ones would be like Lil Wayne, the rap guy. I was in a music video with his called Crazy. Kesha, the pop singer lady. I was in her music video for her. Sabrina Carpenter. I was in the Tears video, although you can't really see me. We auditioned as principal actors. We got cast as principal actors. I was cast as the New York Butcher. I come out to audition, but they didn't do any coverage of us, so it kind of looks like I'm more like an extra or something, even though I was a principal. And they put our names in the credits of the music video. So if you watch the Tears video and you see her come out in the New York thing where she's dancing in the New York alleyway, if you kind of squint and twist your head a little bit, look over her shoulder, you'll see some a-hole with white hair coming out, throwing out a fish bite in the background. That's me. But anyways, I'm in the credits and everything too. But otherwise, some of the other notable ones would be
Well, on your highlight reel, you've got a pretty cool scene, a couple of cool scenes from shows in there as well.
Oh, okay.
Where you're
Yeah,
actually, you know, 'cause they bring you in as a character actor for some of these.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm mainly like a character actor, so I usually play usually like the sleazy used car salesman, or the sleazy strip club owner, or the sleazy guy at the bar that slaps the woman on the butt and says, "Hey, baby," or something like that. Those type of parts. Or the mafia guy, or the boxing boss. The boxing boss that
Oh,
fixes
yeah.
the fight all the time. I've done that like 5 or 6 or 7 times now, playing that kind of part. But anyway, so yeah, it's fun.
Well,
But yeah.
why don't I reveal really quickly what we've cast you in for a Solarian product? So if you want to bring up the picture on the screen there, Peter. All right, so folks know that we're big fans of a game called Weird Heroes of Public Access. This is Joey Royale's game, where all the players play hosts of a public access TV show, and you get to pick whatever kind of show you are, and whatever your show is determines the kind of equipment and powers you have in this small town in New England. And it's all kind of based, you don't really know what year it is. It could be the 70s, it could be the 80s, it could just be like no time at all. But it's all in this world where like all the stuff you'd read in the Weekly World News and the Inquirer, like Bat Boy and all that, is all real. So Peter, do you have that picture that we can bring up?
I'm trying to. My freaking software is fighting me.
Oh, good. We got technical stuff all over. So I'll explain it while it's coming up. So Fairhaven is the town that everything is set in. And I've written an adventure for it called The Haunted Claw Machine. In it, so as the hosts of the various TV shows, you are always a little bit worried about your shows, being able to be on the air. Do you have any oh, there we go. Beautiful. So there it is. This is the actual adventure for the Haunted Claw Machine.
Okay.
And you can just kind of see in that claw machine, rather than just showing you, there's a little toy in that claw machine.
Yeah. With black hair. I have black hair.
Yeah. So bring me full screen on here for a moment, if you would, Peter.
Yep.
Because we're going to be running this at ShireCon, and in the game, when people go into the claw machine, I'm ready for them. I actually have the pillow from the
black hair one. I used to have black hair.
Yeah. I pulled this from one of your headshots, one of your characters. I'm like, this is perfect. So this in the game is an interdimensional mob boss named Vinny Tirano, and you'll have to play the game to find out what Vinny does. But so this is it. Don't worry, Mark. I'll get an extra pillow for. I'll have an extra pillow for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. That looks great. It sounds fun.
What is that?
So let's talk about your games.
Oh, well, real quick, speaking of the local access TV show host, I was in a music video for a punk rock band once where I played, the a-hole, like, wacky, public access TV show host with a bunch of puppets. I'd like host some show with talking puppets or something. I'll have to find it. I'm not sure if that video is still live, but I'll try to find a clip of it that I can send you privately so you can see it if it's not on my. I have a YouTube channel under my name, and it shows a lot of acting clips. So if people want to see some of that stuff, just go to my YouTube channel, look for Mark Taormino YouTube, and you can see a bunch of my stuff on there.
But
anyways, I played that kind of part as well, the wacky public access talk show with puppets of all things. Anyway,
Mark, I actually did I've done a little bit of indie film stuff too. My buddy of mine got into doing making movies and stuff, indie movies and stuff. And he made this one where it was like an hour and 40 minutes, like a full feature film. He actually hired, have you ever heard of Bai Ling?
I've heard the name. Yeah.
She was in The Crow. She was in the Jason Statham movie, Shock 2 or something like that. And she's been in a bunch of other movies too. One's more serious movies. She's actually pretty good at, pretty well-known actress, especially in China.
Okay, yeah. Because I think she's like a martial artist or something. She's in that Jason Statham movie, Crank or something. Or
Crank
Crank.
2.
Yeah, that's
She's
it,
in Crank
Crank.
2. Yep, that's
Crank,
a Crank.
yeah, where he
And then
where it's like it's where on the movie Speed, you're on a bus that can't slow down. In Crank, it's Jason Statham that can't slow
you
down.
can't slow down. Right.
Right.
So
He
yeah, and
is
I've done
the
a
bus.
bunch of indie stuff with him as well. So it's I was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, like, you know, we have something in common.
Great. Are you guys, are you local to California, or are you in a different state?
No,
Well,
I'm in the Maryland area.
So I've been out in California for about a decade and just moved back to the East Coast. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
California.
yeah. But next time I'm out for doing some conventions, we'll get together and maybe we'll do the Weird Heroes thing and then have you come on when the character arrives and freak everybody the heck out.
Yeah, exactly. I've got all the outfits for it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So let's talk about some of the stuff let's talk about what you got coming out right now. I mean, you said you do like 12 to 18 a year.
Yeah, in last year, I think I released like 18 or something or so. It sounds unbelievable,
Wow.
but I have them all listed out in one of my projects somewhere. And then this year, it's probably going to be about 12 or something like that, I think, going on 12 or so. But yeah, basically, for example, real quick here, let's see. So, okay, yeah, so this year alone, here, okay. So this year alone, starting in January, I released this one, and then also this year, this one. That's
Well, you know what? Okay, so
4.
we have some folks that listen on audio. So tell us the names of them as you're going through them.
Okay, so this year alone, starting in January, I released Mistress of the Parlor of Leather and Lace, Mary Winkle and the Fiendish Fables. That's 2. Goblin with a Glass Sword, Goblin Glass with a special cover. Mysteries of Rowdy Dragon Inn. That's 5. Hookah Priestess is 6. Fast Eddie in the Palace of Paradise is 7. And then upcoming next month is the Errol Otis one, Voyage to the Forbidden Zone. That's 8. And Caverns of the Chaotic Ones. That's 9. And then the special edition Lincoln one is 10. And then after that, there's going to be 2 more and another Kickstarter. There might be 2 more after that. So we're up about 10 right now, as is.
So we go back to the Errol. Tell us about the Errol Otis one. How did you end up working with him?
Yeah.
So the Errol Otis one coming up here, I'm in layout phase of that one right now. So it was originally due in the Kickstarter had it due in November, but I'm actually ahead of schedule. Surprisingly, normally I'm a little bit.
I don't understand that phrase. Ahead of
What does that
schedule.
Well, I didn't understand it either. But back in the old days when I only had to do 1 or 2, wasn't a big problem. Well, even then I used to fall behind sometimes back then. But anyways, but yeah. So usually I'm catching up on one because what I'm just normally in the past I would just run 1 Kickstarter at a time. But because I have to do this full time, you have to flow. So Kickstarter, fortunately, I've done 32 successful Kickstarters now. So fortunately, knock on wood, they approve of me enough to allow me to kind of run multiple
Consecutive or concurrent
going on, like at least 2 or 3 at a time. But I'm almost all caught up now. So once I get the Errol Lotus one done here, which is due in November, but it's actually going to be finished and shipped next month in September ahead of schedule. Once I get all caught up on that, then I think I can be back to just doing a 1-per-1 Kickstarter again with a flow and not have to run behind it 1 or 2 in development. But anyways,
so what do you think? I just want to ask you about the Kickstarters, but I'll wait for that. Tell me what you're going to say.
Oh, okay. So real quick to answer your question about Errol Lotus. So this is actually the second Errol Lotus module I've done. The first one we did a couple of years ago, back in 2023, I commissioned it, and then 2024 I released it. It was called Fantastic Quest of the Whimsical One, and that one is.
I love these titles.
Yeah.
I think the titles are a key thing. The title is usually the first thing I think of before even the storyline. So
honest to God, I do the same thing. I totally get it.
Yeah, I think that's the best
good
way.
Minivan.
What's that?
Okay, you're saying because the one of the next things we're putting out for Top Secret is one called Damn Good Minivan.
Oh, okay.
Because the title popped in my head. I'm like, what kind of an adventure can I write for the title Damn Good Minivan? You know?
That's a good that's a good title. You know, in fact, I used to play Top Secret all the time too. That was my 3rd favorite game.
All right.
Game.
All right.
So I used to play so actually I desperately wanted to do a line of top secret modules. So I thought of a new product line I'm developing. It's going to be called Mission Classified, colon, then we'll have whatever the blah, 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 whatever the adventure name is. But the series is called Mission Classified. But anyways, the problem is they just don't make enough money. The only thing that does well on Kickstarter is, in my stuff, is fantasy. Every time I deviate from fantasy get to Gamma World or the Wild West thing, they just don't do as well. And I really have to be super careful now with not
Gotta pay the rent.
Kind of project on Kickstarter. I can do them on the side and then just release them as direct product sales on my website. But as far as Kickstarter is concerned, anytime you deviate from fantasy, I don't know if you've discovered this or not, they just don't quite do as well. Even though I love Gamma World and the top secret stuff, but so I will be doing those continue on the side, but they probably will not be direct Kickstarter projects. Only going forward will be mostly fantasy stuff on Kickstarter. But
the thing is that if you're doing something that's like espionage or pulp or whatever, if you've already got a following of people that are specifically following you for that, like we do pretty good with it because of that. But if somebody's known for fantasy and then they do another one, it's like you have to go find a whole nother audience. So if you, we'll talk about it later, but if you want to do some Mission Classified, if you want to do some top secret things, we can get the word to our folks, and just this is not only for you, this is for anybody who's listening. We're very good about licensing out, allowing people to write official top secret stuff. The only thing we do is just say, we look at it to see if you got the rules right. And if it's something that we don't think we would be into, we don't stop anybody from doing it. We just don't give them the logo. But usually we're like, hey, that's pretty good. Here's the logo. And then we tell people to go buy it.
Oh, okay. So you actually have direct control of the actual property of Top Secret?
Yeah, we own Top Secret.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Because what I was thinking of when I did my thing was it would be like written for 1st edition and 5th edition, just to make it in line with fitting into the other stuff. But that's what I was kind of thinking of beforehand. But definitely it'll be something that could still be a crossover.
Yeah, we'll talk to you about it offline. We'll talk to you about, if you ever wanted to make official top secret stuff. But right now, you said...
I'm not familiar with the rules anymore or something. So I figured, well, I'll write it for like a top secret style thing, but I'll write it with 1st edition and 5th edition rules so they can interchange it amongst their already existing stuff, something like that.
Yeah.
Like I did with the Gamma World thing. I call it Warriors of the Wasteland, but it's all done for 1st edition and 5th edition. So it's interchangeable with it, but that's great that you guys are in charge of all that. I wanted to ask you another question about real quick. I want to answer your question real quick about Errol Otis.
Yeah,
because it's not easy thankfully, I'm lucky that Mr. Otis likes my products. And so
well, he wouldn't let his stuff be on there if he didn't love it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise, you can't just hire him. Some of these guys
he doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah. So, but with Mr. Otis, he has to like your products and all that stuff. So I was like, thank God he likes the stuff. So what happens is with him, it took a while of communication to get going, but we did. It took me a couple of years of back and forth, and finally he liked my stuff. I sent it to him, and they said, okay, I'd like to do this. So what happened was on the first one, in all of them, I said, well, why don't we do this? I said, you come up with whatever you creatively feel like you want to do. You come up with whatever it is you want to do. You make the painting. I'll write the module around whatever that is. I'll come up with the whole thing, whatever. I'll just do it entirely on that. So, okay, sounds good. So suddenly he got back to me like within a week. He said, hey, I got this idea for this thing, this dragon thing, this worm creature, which turned out to be this thing here.
We can't see that one, Mark.
Oh, yeah, I can't see it. I can't bring it up any closer. But basically, he came up with that whole thing. I said, look, great, let's do it. So we did it. And I wrote the whole story around it. I called it Fantastic Quest of the Whimsical One. It's about like a silly, comical, like worm type dragon character that's an outcast suddenly, and he lives in like the world of like Errol Otis, like the worm. They call it Worm Delve. It's like where all the Errol Otis creatures live or something right in the cave. And because this particular dragon character is like an outcast, he's like shunned from the society of all the other worms. So they like banish him to like, oh, you live up on the upper levels, and you stay away from us. You're weird or whatever. Okay, yeah.
He doesn't get to play any reindeer games.
Exactly, it's reindeer games. Exactly, it's like a Rudolph type of thing. It's exactly the similar thing because what happens is he's living off away from everybody. Then suddenly what happens is suddenly there's a earth elemental comes up down deep within Wormdell, and it's a rock golem, some kind of earth creature that starts destroying everything and corrupting everything. And because it takes over their world, but he's so far away up in the upper levels, can't get to him. So in other words, he's the only one that's available now to go back down with adventurers. When the adventurers show up, he tells them the plight of his people, and then he joins them to go down into the adventure and save his people along with the player characters. Then he becomes a hero like Rudolph.
Rudolph,
You know,
Wow.
That's awesome.
concept there. So I came up with that. Excuse me, came up with that whole thing and wrote it, and came out well. It did really well. It still sells all the time, and Errol really liked it. So then he said, "Okay, let's do it." I said, "Can we do some more?" I said, "Okay, let's do a few more." So then we commissioned a second one, which is the one here, which is the it's called Voyage to the Forbidden Zone, and that's the one coming up for November. But I'm actually going to be able to deliver it in September. Same thing. He came up with this weird creature and like an ocean concept in this ocean, and then you can't see it, but he created this weird like a dark like Nemo, evil Nemo like submarine thing, like in the bottom of the water that's going into the thing, this creature thing. And I said, okay, let's do it again. So I told him, I said, just whatever you want to make. So he did it. So I said, okay. So I came up with a whole concept of that one, and basically it's called Voyage to the Forbidden Zone. And in that one, it's fun. Is it ties into my other module with my Drow character, where I have a different module called Sinestra and her machinist Bidera. It's about my female Drow boss character that's intercepted the plans to Lalt's spider ship. Her spies have intercepted the plans to Lalt's ship, and Sinestra, being a super genius, has figured out there's flaws in those plans. That the spider.
I can't imagine what this might be similar to.
This sounds familiar somehow.
Yeah, exactly. So she takes on and solves the problem and the plans and makes her own spider ship, so I could do my own spiders.
Oh, nice.
It's better than the one that the Spider Queen has. So in that module, there's a kind of starter thing for that one where she's building the plans. This module is now the sequel. So this Arrow Lotus one. So now what happens is now she's in the process of building the thing, like in this underwater, in this weird creature thing. That's like a gateway to like the dark underweb or whatever, the Drow world or whatever. So it starts out with the player characters have, real quick, I'll make this real quick. What happened was, in the plans, she discovered that the flaw was like the Canuten valve didn't connect to the Faramis scam, whatever, with a J clamp or something, whatever, some silly nonsense. So she's ordered a new one by the Acme Corporation.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And in there, I gave Acme a different acronym, like advanced computer engineer. It's something that fits with the thing. Anyways, so the player characters start out real quick in the pirate town nearby, which is from my other module called Pirates of the Serpent's Den. So the characters start out in that pirate town, and then the bar listing, and there's a Drow submarine. The Drow submarine guys are talking about how they're supposed to meet some guys from the Acme Corporation to deliver this part. So long story short, the player characters, by happenstance, have actually ran into those guys earlier in the day and robbed them and killed them.
Oh, no.
Then they realized, we have the passes for those engineers that are supposed to meet up with these Drow guys. Let's go pretend that we're the guys, so we can get aboard their ship and go out for a big haul with Thor. So then the player.
Mark, let me ask you: with all of these, have you got a campaign world that these are all woven into, or do you have plans to do that?
Oh, okay. As a byproduct of creating so many modules, I've written like 60 of them now, I think, 60 or something. Yeah, as a byproduct of all that, suddenly I had to invent, of course, all these different locations and land masses and cities and towns and villages and stuff. So at some point, I'd like to put it all together and create like an actual world world map. Right now, I just have a generic tile by old World of Mayhem, but you can't copyright those words or something.
Right.
So, yeah, so I have
eventually
to come up
you could maybe have like a lore that kind of weaves between all of them and put it all together into one thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that's
really cool.
Work as well. It's like a World of Greyhawk type of series of books, but it'll be for my future thing for all this. So yeah, definitely, because now I'm having to cross connect everything. Because now when I make a new module, I can go, I can tie that into this piece of lore from this other module that was earlier, or a little piece like that. So now I'm threading them all together.
So I wanted to ask you about since you said, you're doing these on Kickstarter, and it's interesting because, as you say, normally with Kickstarter, you have to complete and fulfill before you do the next one, but you've built up a track record. They know you're good for it.
I've done 32 successful projects. Yes.
Yeah.
Not one of them.
Yeah, no, nobody's got to worry about that. But it's interesting to me because there's a lot of discussion about, well, two different things generally. One of them is, do you need to use any crowdfunding platform, at all? Is it actually a good way to promote things? And then the other side of the coin is, if you do, people are now using, in addition to Kickstarter, they're using BackerKit, GameFound, and, a few others. And we've even, for the next thing we're doing, we're working with both Kickstarter and BackerKit because BackerKit has reached out to us to help us, with some marketing and things like that. Have you got a philosophy of, what's the best way to approach these kind of things? Have you tried different stuff? Do you have advice for people?
Yes. Yep. And I'll tell you that. Okay. Basically, in my experience, I've done Kickstarter projects for new projects, and I've also tried to do direct sale product launches directly on the website to my email list, which is the same email list that I would broadcast a Kickstarter project to as well. So in other words, normally a Kickstarter, I say, hey, email list of whatever, like something like 5,000 people or something, I think. Hey, everybody, here's a new Kickstarter. Go check it out. They go into back. Or I say, hey, everybody, here's a direct link to a new product that's pre-order on my website. Like, it's the same thing. One's doing it by Kickstarter, another one's doing it as a pre-order, right?
Right.
In my experience, yeah, Kickstarter by far is the better way to go, because whenever I try to do a direct product thing on Kickstarter, generally does really well. Excuse me. In the first day, it might get up.
Yeah, you got to get them all in the first day.
Yeah, you get them all in the first day or two. Okay. In other words, in general, a Kickstarter is about 3 times better than a direct product sale, in my experience.
Why do you think that is?
Sale, it just does not do as well as a Kickstarter. And I believe the reason is because Kickstarter, excuse me, Kickstarter gets you out there more tentacles out in the web that get eyeballs on you.
I'm assuming you do some analytics. You look at how it's doing and try. Do you notice like how many times you're getting brand new people versus? I'm assuming the people who buy your stuff come back and they want the next one.
Usually, yes. So I would say 90%, 95% of people that buy my books always come back and want to get the next book. Right. And then, excuse me. And then what happens is a new person might show up and buy the new book, and they go, "Oh, you've got all these other books. Oh, I like that. Let me go." And then they'll come buy all their other books as well from the website. So basically, that's that. Now, as far as analyzing how many new people, over the last 2 campaigns, I think maybe I gained about 50 more new people, 25 to 50 more new people each one.
That's really good.
That's good. Yeah, it's still good, man.
About that, yeah, because originally Kickstarter didn't quite have any easy ways of determining that. But now I think with some of their more advanced analytics, you can kind of figure that out. But
yeah, you kind of have to download the data and go through it yourself. That's why we've been looking at doing some stuff with BackerKit, because we're thinking they give you a lot better tools. Maybe the discovery isn't as important as it was before. We don't know yet, though.
Yeah, one of the things that we were looking at is so this last Kickstarter we did, we used Kickstarter's fulfillment, so their shipping and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And honestly, I think BackerKit still does a better job of it, because I was doing all the data fulfillment, so like who gets what and where and all that, and then uploading it to our fulfillment center so that then they can all get their packages, right? Well, I hadn't done, we haven't done, this is the first one we did in a year. And so it just seemed a lot harder. It took me a lot longer to get that data together to send it out than it did with BackerKit. And I think BackerKit, I just think they probably just do a better job. I mean, that's what I remember. Okay.
How many packages did you have to ship in total?
About 400, I think, something like that. It was a pretty big number. But the thing is that, so the question I guess that, Mark, is, are you doing these all yourself? Do you have a fulfillment house that's doing it for you?
No, I do it all myself. So whenever I complete a Kickstarter and then I get the books printed, I literally go and pick them all up at the book
that's
printing.
So much work.
I have to go ahead and fulfill it. Now, on average, when a typical campaign of mine does well, I may have to ship out about 150 books on average per campaign. Well, 150 books of each thing. So in other words, most of my campaigns are 2 books. So I'm really shipping out 300 books, you know what I mean, for whatever,
Yes.
2 books, average to 150 people, yeah, on average. So, but like I said, the Western one just didn't do as well. It only came out to be like 75 orders or something, so about half as much as it normally would do. But that's fine, because I wanted to do an America 250 celebration to celebrate our country.
Right,
So,
right.
I figured, well, I'll do the Western thing, but I need to be careful. So, anyways, on future.
It turns out people weren't looking for that genre, is what you're saying?
I think they were looking for that genre as much as I would have liked to hope for. But I think it's fine.
It's funny sometimes how you think like, oh, if we tie this to that, it'll make a lot of sense, and then you're like, oh, actually, it didn't. Who knew? It
Right.
just it looked like it would have.
And it's
exactly it's actually a sci-fi, Western, and fantasy all combined in one. So
It's
that's
crazy. It is
it's called
absolutely-
it's called Abraham Lincoln Meets the Star Spawn. So essentially, that my mind player character, the Star Spawn from my book 2, he's real quick. He's in space. He's on board like a USS Reliance type of ship that he hijacked years ago. Right, killed the crew. Anyways, he's flying around as a Reliant. He's looking for like precious gold for his secret machines. So suddenly, what happens is real quick. I'll make this quick. Suddenly, an Anunnaki Class B freighter suddenly comes in out of like hyperwarp or something, like right in like his zone where he's at. And he picks it up in the manifest. Oh, they're headed towards this place called Earth in the Old West looking for gold or something. So he beams aboard the Anunnaki ship and like kills everyone, like kills half of them. Keeps the other half to have them be slaves, like to mine the gold, which normally they would, they came to, well, in our lore from Mesopotamia, whatever, they came to Earth to have us mine the gold, right? Anyways, so he comes on their ship, takes it to Earth, and has them start mining the gold. Then he opens a portal to the fantasy world of mayhem or whatever, bring in monsters to be in control of all of them. That's how we bring the fantasy monsters into the Old West. Okay. Along with those monsters come the player characters running in, chasing them, whatever, and that's how the players end up in the Old West to be the inventor. Okay. So then they meet Abraham Lincoln. Suddenly, it opens up with Abraham Lincoln and the Star Spawner about to get into fisticuffs. And anyways, and then they show up, and the Star Spawn has to go away for some reason. Anyway, so Abraham Lincoln says, "Okay, go and help me get that alien guy and whatever." So player characters have to go into an old mine and go in there and free the Anunnaki, get rid of the Star Spawn, banish him back to space, and then it's a big happy ending type of thing with everybody. Oh, real quick, I had to solve one other problem real quick, because in our real life lore, the Anunnaki are supposed to come here to take over us, right? That was their original intent. But instead, Star Spawn intercepted them and made them the people doing the goal. So when the player, sorry, real quick. Real quick. When the player characters free the Anunnaki from the thing, from their cells, right? The Anunnaki boss is like, "Oh, thank you for freeing us, and boy, were we wrong about you Earthlings. You guys are badasses. We're not going to mess with you again. We're going to go after that Star Spawn. And by the way, we'll just go find some other planet to go and enslave and get their gold. Okay, see you later, bye." And then they get off. So
the adventurers not only stop that, they save the world.
essentially they saved the world. And then, real quick, then when Lincoln said at the very end, let's see what you guys think about this. At the very end, Lincoln says, earlier there's a picture on the wall of Chocolate Thunder and a couple other characters, like doing stuff at the tavern, and on the wall are 2 playbills. One's for Our American Cousin, and then the other one's for Hamlet. Okay, so at the very end, Lincoln, he says, "Oh, thank you for helping me save my world." Blah blah blah. He goes, "I'm going to go back to Washington and celebrate watching a play with my wife,
American Cousin."
Okay, but we don't specify which one. And he goes, "After that, I'm planning on changing my country for the better," or something like that. So to the players, when they're hearing this, "Oh, good boy, we saved the world," and "Oh, Lincoln," and then somebody says that, now it's like I want it to be like, whoa, like a kind of a gut punch to the players. Like, wait a second, you know what I mean? Is
like,
that
Abe, go to Hamlet? Trust us on this one. Go to Hamlet.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So it could have been either one, but I wanted to leave it open-ended for the players, kind of like a real, like, fun fun ending. Then suddenly a big gut punch. Like, wait a second, you know what I mean? Is that what's going to happen next? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I left it kind of open-ended for
I
that.
love
But
that. I love that. I mean,
I worked really hard to try to figure out how all this would work with a real interesting play and thought-provoking piece for players and for readers of the module.
did you in the artwork for that? Did you put Abe Lincoln in the artwork on the cover?
Yes. He's on the cover, and there's a picture of him shaking hands with the player characters at the end. And I have and on purpose I have the player characters be a mixed race, like a fantasy characters. Like one's a black guy, one's a white guy, one female, whatever character, a dwarf. You know what I mean? So like mixed races, and he's shaking hands with the main fantasy player that's a black guy or African American guy, whatever. And the message being, in the fantasy world, there's no race. You know what I mean?
This
Everything
is definitely the first time Abraham Lincoln has showed up in the D&D world. Definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I was just trying to think of something that was kind of out there. Because I kept
No, I
thinking
love it. I love it. I mean,
zombies or something, or vampires, right?
well, there, yeah,
So
I guess there
anyway,
is Abraham Lincoln Zombie Hunter out there, but I mean, look, it's not very original or interesting to be like, I'm a big fan of Abraham Lincoln. Who's not, right? But
Right.
I actually own a print of George Washington that was hung in one of Abraham Lincoln's offices. So I always feel like a little. I don't know if it was in an office that he ever spent any time in or not, but the point was he technically owned it. So I'm like, oh, look what I have. So
Okay, wow. Huh, that's neat.
yeah. But anyways,
I just
this
thought
is
it just all kind of came together.
yeah. No, this is really, really exciting, cool stuff. And what is the what was the thing that we showed up on the screen before, Peter, that Mark was actually in the painting of?
Ah, yes, this one.
Oh, okay. So that's a book called 101 like magical and mystical items. So it's like a book of 101 magic items, and that one just got released also this year as well.
And that's a Kaka Katana cover, yes.
Yeah, that one's a Kaka Katana cover. Yes, Justin Davis. Yes. And then that we put me in it on that one too.
That's awesome.
That was on purpose. And the cat there on the cover is my cat who passed away a couple years ago. But that's
I'm sorry to
nice.
hear that. What's your cat's name that passed away?
His name was Merlin, and he lived to be about 14 years old, and he got cancer, and he passed away in 2024. So I wanted to put him on the cover there. He also appears in my Lost Tomb of the Mummy Lich adventure. He appears in like a black and white image as a cat in that one.
I love to see it. I love to see it. You'll always win me over with cats, and whatever you can do to celebrate somebody's life is the best thing you can do. And so I love that you're celebrating them here in this painting.
Yes. And speaking of that, I put my parents, because my mom died in 2023. So in my Village on the Borderlands book, I had Jacob Blackmon do like a black and white picture of my parents when they were younger, and they appear in that storyline as the carpenter and his wife. So I have my mom and dad appearing in there as a couple of fantasy characters, because my dad was a carpenter. He was an architect. He would build and design houses. So I put him and my mom.
Beautiful.
Celebrating.
That's just beautiful. So I got to ask you, for this one that's on the cover of the magical and mystical items, do you have this, a print or something framed in your house of this? You have to.
I don't have it yet. The only one I have actually framed right now is my original Hanging Coffins one. I'd like to get more.
Like you need just that painting, like a big framed copy of that painting on your wall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that. Yeah. I'd like to do more of that. I just don't have the room right now, but I want to definitely at some point, if I get a bigger place, have those kind of things. I think Goodman Games has a wall with all of their stuff, right? With
Well, when you look in the great manor houses in England, they've always got the walls just stuffed with paintings. You can't even see the wall behind all their paintings. Just nothing wrong with filling up the walls.
Yes. And I'm lucky because I have great artists, and a lot of times this one was intentional. I told them to put me in this one, but a lot of times they'll just put me in without even me knowing about it or telling them to.
Yeah.
So there's several different pictures or where I've suddenly appeared in the book.
Well, Mark, I don't understand that, because you don't have like a unique look or anything like that. Like, it's really hard to identify you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what, Mark? Tell us about this a little bit. I mean, you've got anybody who knows you knows your look. Knows this stuff. I'd love to know kind of were you like a punk kid? Like where does your whole image come from?
No. Actually, I was a great big nerd all the time. And what happens is the reason I have this kind of crazy look nowadays is because when I got back into, I've been in the movie business for on and off for 30 years. And when I got back in again around 2011, I used to look like a normal person with like normal hair and like no sideburns and no mustache. But I didn't get hired on any jobs or stuff for many years. And then around 2014, 2013, I started saying, well, let me grow out my sideburns a little bit more. Let me grow out a mustache. So by 2015, 2016, I suddenly had grown out this kind of look with the crazy sideburns and the mustache and the more wild hair. And then I started getting parts. Then I started getting all those kind of character parts like that. So then, but I used to dye my hair black like in your picture there, like that. Yes. So, but around a couple of years ago, I said, well, it's getting a little bit too much to dye my hair anymore. It's too messy. I don't know if you've ever dyed your hair, but it's a big mess. You got to do it once a month. It makes a big mess in the back. You got to clean up. It's a big hassle factor. So I said, you know what? I'll just stay with my white hair. So basically, that's why I have the look, is because for the movie business, I kind of grew out kind of a more crazier look because it helps me stand out and get more parts.
I'm surprised like nobody has brought you in for like the Mad Scientist too, because that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I played the Mad Scientist thing. Yeah, and a couple music videos and some spaceship movie, like an hour and a half movie that never came out. I played like the Mad Scientist on the spaceship, and I've auditioned for Mad Scientist a lot too. So basically,
Well, because that's the thing, because having seen your demo reel and having seen some of the stuff is that if somebody's looking at you and they're thinking, oh, he's got a look, so he's getting it for that. But you're a good actor. I mean, I've seen it and I know how hard acting is because I cannot do it. So, I mean, it's a difficult task. So, and you're very good at it.
Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah. I've been doing it on and off for 30 years. And over the last 10 years or 2011, when I got back in, my original stint with acting was 1988 through 1994. So when I was 18 years old to 24 years old. So 1988 through 1994, didn't have much success. And I said, oh my God, I used to wake up at night panicking. Oh my God, I got to get a real job. I got to get a real career. I'm 24. Oh my God.
Oh, you're so old. Oh my God, almost a quarter century old.
Yeah, I'm almost a quarter century old. Yeah, literally, I would wake up at night having a panic attack. When God,
I totally get it.
Prior to that, I would just work regular jobs like CVS pharmacy. I was a pharmacy technician for 4 years back then, but I had got out of that job. Anyways, so I said, okay, let me get into my original love, which was programming. I was a software engineer. Actually, I learned how to program when I was 13 years old in 1983. So in 1994.
Wait, you got to tell us. In 1983, what language were you learning and what computer was it?
Okay, so in 1983, I learned primarily on a Commodore 64 in Commodore Basic. Yep. And then in 1985, I started learning assembly language, the 6502 assembly language back then. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, the Apple II uses the same 6502 assembly language.
Yes, exactly. Before I had a Commodore, I had learned the very, very primitive basics on an Apple II Plus at school.
Yeah, one of those right there.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. See, so yeah, very basic stuff back in like 80, 81 or something, 82, like, print, go to, if then, variables, just very, very simple stuff. But I really learned how to put it all together was on the Commodore 64. Then I could actually think of something and then make it into a game on the computer that was an actual functional game.
Yeah.
I started learning Visual Basic, and I created in 1995 my own CD-ROM computer game at the time. It was called The Little King, and it was a Bible-based game. It was like a Disney does the Bible. It was a story of the nativity. So back then I could actually draw like Disney type characters. Now I can barely draw a stick figure, and it's super embarrassing.
Well, you got to keep it up. If you're not doing it all the time, it fades.
I'd like to try to get back into it and see if I can still do it. But now I just draw like a stick figure. It's really embarrassing. I give to my artist. I think, oh God, embarrassing.
Well, no, I think the artists prefer that. A lot of people. This is a thing that's happening now. Is people are getting into like using Gen AI, and they're like, oh, I'm going to make a Gen AI thing and hand it to my artist, and they're going to love that. Artists hate that. They want the stick figures. They just say, look, tell me what you want. I'm the artist. I'll do it.
Yes. And on that subject, because I have such a heavy load of stuff that has to get released, like I said, 12 this year, I do have to once in a while now use some AI assisted stuff where I'll generate some images in black and white or something. I'll kind of do like 4 images, and then I'll kind of mix and match in Photoshop and put them all together, like with myself kind of fixing things or whatever. So, but I have to, I put it on the Kickstarter if the project's going to use that. So it's disclosed on there, but I try to keep it to a minimum. But the problem is just like I said, when you have to develop such a heavy load, 12 books a year or more. Like last year it was 18. So anyways,
well, the way that we found around it is that there's actually a pretty good number of libraries out there. People think, if you go to DriveThruRPG, they have the publisher resources and they have people selling some art there. That's fine. But I've actually found using something like Adobe Stock, you'd be shocked how many good black and white pen and ink drawings are hidden inside of there. And so we'll do the same thing. We'll license those and mix and match and do the same sort of thing as you're talking about.
Okay, yes, and I have used some of the Adobe stuff too. Exactly, you're absolutely right about that. So I need to go back in there some more. The problem was I was running into a stoppage point where I was like, okay, well, I've already used this clip art. I've already used that clip art. Can't use this other clip art. It looks terrible. You know what I mean? Like a lot of that stuff was terrible. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, the funny thing is, if you look at the TSR stuff from back in the day, or a lot of different, you'll find them recycling some of their art, and we do the same thing.
I've had to do that now. I've had to do that carefully. I've had to.
I think players are totally fine with that happening.
Yeah, I think it's okay. And I explain all this stuff in my Kickstarter when I talk about this subject matter, because you have to disclose it now in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so and it's a good thing because it's such a contentious subject that it's sometimes best to like say, you know what, I don't want anybody not buying my product for this, so I'll find some way around it.
Yeah, I know exactly. And it's so far, knock on wood, everybody's been accepting of it as long as I disclose it. So,
yeah,
so far,
I think it's when you're dealing in the kind of things that you deal with and we deal with as indie publishers, when you're dealing in a world where you're selling in the hundreds rather than the hundreds of thousands, each customer matters individually. Like each single customer really is important. So yeah, it's a big deal. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand the situation, on it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like I try to explain it to everyone, like to be transparent. You know what I mean? Like this is why I kind of leverage this stuff because
you pay for some great cover artists. Like you said, Kakakatana is great. Who was the other cover artist that you said you worked with a lot?
Oh, I work with Kakakatana like 99%. I've worked with Jeff D in the past. I've worked with like Otis. I've worked with Phil Stone. I've worked with Brian McCraney. A lot of them. But the problem is sometimes these guys, they'll do it for several years and they kind of drop out.
Suddenly, I learned that, when we were doing Gygax magazine, we would make a point of going back to some of the, artists from back in the day. And the thing is, I would have in my mind, well, Diesel used to pump out 5 things a month. Yeah, but he was 21. So you go to an artist now who's maybe in their 60s and they're like, man, I've been doing this my whole life. I'm going to slow down. Maybe I'll meet your deadline. Maybe I won't.
And Jason, our cover artist for More Blood, right? He's not a gaming artist at all, right? He's like a pop artist, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't do games at all. He was like, what is a game? Yeah.
Right. And it was awesome. He nailed it. He knocked it out of the park. It's awesome. But it's really cool because no other game has his artwork in it because he doesn't do that. And it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting on that. Yeah, I'll have to look into some more folks like that too, because what happens is, like I said, like how it is, like suddenly they.
Oh, I think we just got a little freeze up here. We'll give him a second to come back on.
Yeah, he said sometimes his internet gets a little wonky.
Oh, I think we got Mark back. We got you back, Mark.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So sometimes
you just got like a little squirrel got stuck chewing one of your wires there for a second.
Oh, damn it. Where is that?
There you go.
I was when I was doing Mythwits, we were doing a stream and all of a sudden I was out of the stream. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And Draco, when he's a little puppy,
your dog,
he bit through my landline.
Oh,
he actually, I was streaming and he actually chewed through my landline. I was like,
"Oh,
dude,
okay. That's fun." You know what? When my cat was a baby, also he used to like to chew through wires as well back then, like Christmas lights and stuff.
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh, so scary, right?
Yeah, I don't have to stop him, whatever. But yeah.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
sometimes they're just not available. So I try to explain that to the folks. You know what I mean? Why, sometimes you have to use this modern technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I mean, we definitely steer clear of it entirely, just for the same, for the reason I said that. I will say, I mean, in the past, I used to feel a little bit bad about. We would go to Fiverr as well and just hire somebody who was pretty cheap there. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry that we went to Fiverr instead of paying one of the really high priced artists here. But now I'm like, hey, at least we went to Fiverr and we did,
I didn't even know you could do that. Why? What do they charge on Fiverr?
I will talk to you about it offline, but just to give a little thing for people who are listening. So Fiverr started out as a really low cost, freelancing platform. And then they started kind of going a little bit higher end. It was called Fiverr because the original idea was you'd only do stuff for $5. But eventually they realized that anything a person will do for $5 sucks. So now it's more like we'll go there and we'll do a lot of spot art and line art where maybe we're paying, $20 or something for a piece. And because you're working with somebody who's in, a different currency in Eastern Europe or something. Yep. So there's ways, but not to go down.
You might have a guy from like Croatia or something, where the their currency is half the dollar or whatever. So yeah, we're paying him $25, but it's like we're paying him 50 and he's happy to do it.
And sometimes I do we have actually picked up a cover artist, who's in Zagreb, I think, who we were paying basically American rates to. He's a professor at an art school. So it's all over the spectrum.
Yes. I've got some guys in Brazil that do work for me all the time. Like I said, I still have my traditional artists working for me all the time. I've usually got 6 guys working on stuff. Like right now, I got a bunch of guys working on stuff right now. It's just that, like I said, sometimes I may have to augment with some assisted, AI artwork. And like I said, when I generate it, then I go in Photoshop and start changing everything. So it's really not like one and done. Like a lot of Kickstarters, you just see they just generate a picture, just throw it up with 6 fingers and 7 fingers and 2 swords and a melted hand, you know what I mean? All this stuff. I go in and fix all that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's really kind of more like I like to call it assisted, but
Right.
So,
right. Well,
it's true.
As I say, everybody takes the approach they take. Yeah.
Like other places. I see Kickstarters on there right now with that stuff. It's like, what? It's like the hand is all melted or there's 8 fingers or something. You know what I mean? They just don't even bother. And those are ones where I wouldn't do that kind of level of stuff. We just spend it with those ones. It's all AI. At least mine is. I'm having all my traditional artists as much as possible. You know what I mean? I'm just using a little bit to augment. You know what I mean, with extra stuff. So,
sure. I mean, everybody has their line. Everybody has their line. So our line is none at all, but it's fine. So the latest stuff that you have. So as you're doing so many, I'm assuming you've probably got several in the queue. But just to kind of wrap things up, let's talk about what you have coming out, where people can find you, why they should be following you, and also some of the places. I don't know. Do you do conventions? Do you get out and do that as well?
Yes, I just started doing conventions last year. Heidi Gygax, I was so fortunate. She invited me to be one of the special guests at Iija Con, Con 2 last year. Okay, so I went to that. And that was my first time at a major.
Oh, that's convention. Awesome! They had a beautiful space, great place. Yeah,
really nice. Yeah, and I was supposed to be there this year, but I had some medical situations going on where I don't know if you guys had known about it, but I had a year and a half ago they had diagnosed me with a gigantic kidney stone in my right kidney that filled up the entire kidney.
Well, that's a party.
Yeah. It's called a staghorn calculus. Which, by the way, that's going to be the name of one of my villains in a Fey adventure coming up. Staghorn Calculus, the weird antlered like villain, like Fey villain or something. But anyways, it's a real thing. It's called a Staghorn Calculus, and that's what they call it when a kidney stone becomes the size of the entire kidney. The thing took up the entire right kidney. The doctor said it was like they call it that because it looks like antlers to fill up this thing. But when the doctor went in there to do the surgery, he said it was like the entire kidney was filled with cement.
Well, that sounds like an absolute joy. I was in
the hospital for 18 days, for 22 days. They had to go into your back to drill it out. And then 2 months later, I had to go in for a secondary procedure where they go in through the front. to get the other part that they couldn't get to from the back. So
Jeez.
anyways,
Well, you know, maybe you can join the holes up with a little tube and you can look through the middle.
Right.
yeah, exactly. Like, I did have to have a tube in my back for like 2
But
weeks.
you're still but you say you are getting out to conventions now.
Yeah, exactly. So the problem was I was supposed to go this year, but I had a medical thing come up where I had to go see a doctor on a different schedule. I couldn't make it out there, unfortunately. But we're planning for next year. Talk with Heidi. We're going back next year. But yeah,
Sounds
it's fun.
awesome.
And
Yeah, Lake Geneva's a blast.
Yeah. And then last year also they invited me to be the main guest of honor at the Arizona MaricopaCon event.
Wonderful.
So I went and
That's super
attended
cool.
that. And that was my other convention. But otherwise, I'm trying to get there. It's just, once again, it all revolves around finances.
Oh,
And, you know,
yeah.
it
I
is-
mean, it's so hard to get to the ones that you have to fly to.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm doing this full time now. So I have to
Yeah.
be super careful about
Come on.
budgets and stuff like that.
Mark,
That's why
indie game designers make so much money. I mean, you must be rolling around like piles of money on the floor, just rolling around in it, right?
Yeah, I'd like to throw it around here. If I had my suitcase, I have prop money in there. I could throw it around. But
Right.
I have a briefcase with like prop money for like an audition.
Well, this is awesome. So, Mark,
Yeah,
to wrap things up, let's tell people where they can find you, where they can pick up your stuff.
Okay, so the easiest way to find me is just go to www.darkwizardgames.com, and on there you can find all my products available in my storefront that leads directly to the online website store where you can directly buy products. And my website also has links to whatever the latest Kickstarters are running right now, and you can find all my stuff there. Also on the website, you can find my Facebook page for Dark Wizard, you can like, and my YouTube channel and all that stuff. So everything, just go to the website, www.darkwizardgames.com. And you can find everything there.
Awesome.
Killer stuff. All right. I think we'll wrap that up for this week then. Thank you so much for spending this time with us and walking us through some of your different games and your film work and everything. Folks, also go to IMDb and check out some of his reels and everything like that. Just fun things to see. And definitely follow us for when we're going to put out the WHPA module so that you can possibly have a chance to get one of these for yourself. We'll have some extras. I didn't even know you could make these, but turns out you can.
And hey, Jason, where are you running that module?
I'm going to be running this module at ShireCon this year. We've had a chance to play test it. Thank you to my play testers for that. So yeah, if you come to ShireCon this year, you can come and play. Just look for the haunted claw machine, and you'll get to see that. So folks, if you are not already following us on Patreon, you know that there is a free tier. You can go to Patreon / what is it?
It's patreon.com/Solarian.
Solarian. And Peter's been doing a lot of great work on there. You can get some great stuff for free. You can even join at the $5 or $10 range. And if you do that, you can join us in the after party. So we will be over on Discord in just a few minutes. And, as always, like and subscribe. Give us a review on iTunes. It really helps. And we'll see you in the after party if you're in. And otherwise, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks for having me here. Thank you.